How you doing? Yep. Well, I've heard the name 100 times.
Battery that much.
I don't know if I don't remember if we met in person. I apologize, but
Oh, you guys haven't met?
well, I just heard. Oh, yeah, but I've heard Larkin this, Larkin that.
It's our ER guy.
How you doing? Good. Well, I guess so. I was thinking today of Larry, you.
Well, when I was, where's your drop off?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Rob?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Ready, Chapin?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Everyone ready? All right. A good answer. It's an exciting day. Come on all around, y'all, so we can get started. I want to start by welcoming everyone. Thank you for being here on this truly glorious day. We could not plan the weather better. I want to start first by just acknowledging a few folks. You'll hear from some folks here behind me in a moment, but we have a few city councilors, current and former, in the audience. So just wave your hands. I saw former City Council President Karen Paul, for example. Former City Councilor Joe McGee is here. Maybe who else am I forgetting out there?
Gene.
Yeah. Oh, Rob Back. Is that Rob Backus over there? All right. Look. Oh my God. Wow. I have some sharp eyes. Gene Bergman is here somewhere. Thank you for the heads up. And you will hear from a current City Council President Ben Travers and South End Councilor Suno. There's Karen. Hi, Karen. All right, we also, of course, have U.S. Senator Patrick Welch behind me, who will be
Peter Welch.
Peter Welch. Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah.
See, when I ad-lib, sometimes it gets a little dangerous. But Senator Welch is here. You'll hear from him in just a moment. And we also have folks who serve in our Vermont legislature. I saw Senator Gulak here. I don't know if other folks are as well. I try to make acknowledgments happen, especially on big historic days like this, because this really took many generations of work to bring this forward. Former Mayor Elmer Weinberger, thank you for standing in ways I can see people too. I appreciate that. Because it's truly generations of work that policymakers and leaders stand upon to pull things like this off, big projects today. But before I go any further, I'd like to also extend a thanks to Governor Phil Scott. While he was not able to be here today, we appreciate his administration's partnership over many years and support in helping to bring this long-awaited project to completion. Projects of this scale require collaboration across every level of government, and today's celebration reflects that shared commitment to investing in Burlington's future. Today is a day that generations of Burlingtonians have imagined, debated, questioned, redesigned, and worked together to move forward. And so today, after 61 years, 61 years, you heard me, 61 years, we are here to celebrate the opening of the Champlain Parkway. That number, 61, is truly remarkable. It reminds us that this project has never been just about building a road. It has been about something much bigger. How our city grows, how neighborhoods are connected, and how we move about Burlington. It also reflects how we've adapted based on different priorities of different generations and different decades. And today, we are thinking less about car-centric cities and more about multi-mobile cities, ones that are sustainable, that think about housing, that think about climate and our people, and how we build the infrastructure through that lens. There were times where people envisioned something much larger than what stands here today. There are also times when residents raised crucial questions about the impacts of this project and that could have on their neighborhoods, on the environment, and on communities that have too often carried more than their fair share burdens for public infrastructure. And those voices have truly mattered. Burlington listened and worked to take that input into account. Over time, this project changed substantially. Its scope was reduced, its design evolved, community feedback helped shape the final results. And that doesn't mean everyone agreed along every step of the way. Major public projects rarely achieve unanimous support. But I believe today's Parkway reflects something important about Burlington. We can wrestle with difficult questions, acknowledge our history, and build something that better reflects who we are today. And what we built is much more than a new roadway. We've created a new neighborhood street that strengthens the South End street network and improves connectivity and resiliency. We've invested in housing by creating infrastructure that supports future residential growth in this part of the city. If you go all the way under the Parkway, you'll see a neighborhood coming up from the parking lot that is the end of the Parkway as it meets Lakeside Avenue down that way. And this is all helping to meet Burlington's greatest challenges today of building more homes for more people. We've invested in climate resilience and the health of Lake Champlain. A new stormwater pond and filtration system will remove more than 3 tons of sediment. We're going to challenge me for volume here. Yeah. Yes, 3 tons of sediment every year before it reaches the lake, while taking over 11 acres off the combined sewer system for the city. Yeah, we've created nearly 2 miles of continuous off-road shared use paths, making it safer and easier for people to walk, bike, and roll between Burlington and South Burlington. And we've added raised intersections and safer crosswalks, ADA accessible sidewalks, improved rail crossings, undergrounded utilities, modern water and sewer infrastructure, and safer streets throughout the South End. And these are investments that people will experience every day, not only when they're driving, but when we're walking to school, riding to work, or visiting local businesses, or simply just enjoying the South End neighborhood. This is infrastructure that supports a healthier, more connected, and more sustainable Burlington. Projects like this don't happen because of one administration or elected official. They happen because thousands, literally thousands of people have contributed over many years. And I want to thank our federal and state partners who support in making this investment possible. I want to thank the engineers, the planners, the construction workers, the contractors, and the city staff who spent years building this vision into an actual reality. And I especially want to thank the residents, the business owners, and the neighborhood leaders and advocates who stayed engaged even when conversations were difficult. Your participation made this project better. And today marks the end of one chapter, but more importantly, it marks the beginning of another. The Champlain Parkway isn't the finish line. It's the infrastructure that will support the next generation of Burlington's growth. It will help us build more housing, improve mobility, strengthen our neighborhoods, and reduce environmental impacts while creating a city where people have real choices on how they live and how they get around. Today we celebrate not only the opening of the Parkway, but what it represents, a Burlington that learns, listens, adapts, and keeps moving forward. And as I said before, Burlington is back, and today is further evidence of that momentum. So with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce someone who's been a steadfast champion for Vermont communities and for the federal investments that make transformative projects like this possible. Throughout his career in public service, Senator Peter Welch has worked to ensure that Vermont has the resources to invest in safer infrastructure, stronger communities, environmental stewardship, and economic opportunity. And those are exactly the kinds of investments we're celebrating here today. So please help me welcome U.S. State Senator Peter Welch.
Thank you. Mayor, thank you very much for that nice introduction. And by the way, we all do want to acknowledge the incredible work that Senator Patrick Leahy did for his 48 years in the Senate, helping support this project. And you know, when I was just thinking about this, and there's really two thoughts that come to mind. And the mayor really, I think, summed up the belief that Burlingtonians have in the future. No matter what the challenges are, they're going to be persistent. No matter what the voices are, they're going to be heard. And no matter what the obstacles are ahead, they'll overcome them. And you know, you used a word that has gone out of style in the place where I work, and that's collaboration. Well, and it's an example, really, of how you get things done through collaboration. It's not like you're giving something up. You're trying to get something done. And there's an underlying appreciation that when you have a city with people who have different points of view and different needs, and where you have a common objective, and that is a more livable city, that you'll take the time to collaborate, to work together, and do that from administration to administration. You know, Mayor, you played such a major role in making this happen. But you know, I know Bernie Sanders, when he was the mayor, was working on this. And of course, we've got Moreau Weinberger, who made this a priority during his administration. And different mayors, different councils, different points of view, different concerns by citizens. In Burlington, we are open to hearing the point of view that you want to be included. So this is really such a hopeful moment where we're getting together because we are now here celebrating the opening of a new and beautiful, essential item of infrastructure that's going to make this a more livable community. So that commitment from administration to administration in the mayor's office, that commitment from all of the people who had to be involved to get to yes and then to get it done. We need more of that. That is what we need, getting things done. But the second point I want to make is somewhat critical of the place I work. And you'll probably join me in that. But we've had the stuck installed projects that are federally initiated. And just think about that this was conceived in 1965. It's 61 years later. And Emma, I don't know how it is you found a 1965 beautiful condition.
I
Pardon?
personally did that. I'm joking.
Well, she's gonna be styling in her set of wheels that all of you have seen over there. But you know, I do want to make a serious observation. We cannot have stuck and stalled projects. We want to get things built. And that means we've got to get to yes or no sooner rather than later. That is not about saying voices shouldn't be heard, that corners should be cut on incredibly important environmental concerns. It just means let's get it done. Let's have a process where you get from a question to an answer. And that answer might be no. But let's get to yes or no sooner rather than later. This country needs to build things. We need to build things that allow us to have a more livable city. We need to build things that allow us to have more clean energy on the grid. We need to build things that are going to get housing that is desperately needed by the folks who live right here in Burlington and all over the state of Vermont. So when I go back to Washington and able to tell my colleagues about this wonderful achievement, I am going to say 61 years is a little long. And why don't we in the federal government make certain that we take responsibility so projects are not stuck and stalled? They're begun and they're ended within the lifetime of the people who originated the project itself. So thank you so much for the persistence, the inter-administration commitment, the citizen activists who were willing to come out and weigh in, to all the builders that this project represents, a confidence that we can build a better future. Thank you very much, and congratulations to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Senator Welch, and really well said around collaboration, what we need so desperately right now in our democracy. Projects like the Champlain Parkway succeed because they require strong partnerships at every level of government, as I said before. The state of Vermont has been an essential partner throughout this effort, helping to guide one of the largest and most complex transportation projects in our region. Our next speaker has led the Agency of Transportation with a focus on building infrastructure that is safe, resilient, and responsive to the needs of Vermont communities. Please help me in joining me to welcome Secretary of the Vermont Agency of Transportation, Joe Flynn.
Good morning. Senator Welch, Mayor Mulvaney-Stanak, City Council President Travers, and Director Spencer. Burlingtonians, thank you all for being here to mark this milestone of completion and the opening of the Champlain Parkway. This day has been 61 years in the making, as you have heard. The Champlain Parkway has a long and complex history dating back to 1965, when the project was first conceived. A quick internet reference calls it one of the most notorious infrastructure projects in the United States. Throughout those 60 years, many partners have helped bring the project to this moment today. Steadfast determination and leadership by the City of Burlington, the Federal Highway Administration, and regional planners, community members, and opposition groups, and many specialists at the Agency of Transportation where I work. Through CHA, SD Ireland and Kubricki, and Engineers Construction, and the entire independent contractor community. Thank you all for your hard work, for your perseverance, and collaboration. I think that's the third time we've heard that word this morning, through the years to get this project built. I also want to thank you, Senator Welch, for your support of this project and your ongoing support of the agency's needs at the Agency of Transportation. This project reflects decades of community engagement, technical refinement, and collaboration across federal, state, and local partners. Different people have held different views about the Parkway, as you've heard, over the years, but today we can celebrate a completed project that reflects extensive community input and delivers transportation, safety, and multimodal benefits to the city of Burlington. The Champlain Parkway was intentionally designed as a city street, not as a highway. It delivers significant accommodations for pedestrians, for bicyclists, transit users. It adds more than 1.5 miles of shared use path and an improvised sidewalk system, strengthening connections among its neighborhoods, its businesses, its parks, and the communities surrounding it. The project reflects Vermont's commitment to a transportation system that serves everyone, regardless of how they choose or need to travel. It creates a safer and more efficient transportation network for all users. It also reduces congestion by improving circulation in the south end while delivering more predictable and safer access to downtown Burlington. 65 years ago, I spent my summer weekdays around the corner at 53 Charlotte Street in the Five Sisters neighborhood where my grandparents lived. The kids and I from the neighborhood rode our bicycles everywhere. And we rode them in the street. I remember the Pepsi and the Coke plant, the Maltex building, freight trains crossing Pine Street, the St. Johnsbury trucking terminal. I remember Lakeside, where my grandfather was born, GE, and South Park when it had large concrete bleachers. I remember Red Roberts with Red at the Register, and my relatives, the Baldwin family, who had a radiator shop right over there. Completion of this project, the Champlain Parkway, marks the beginning of a new chapter of Burlington's South End. The Parkway will support economic vitality, improve mobility, and strengthen the multimodal connections necessary for a thriving community. And it will do so for many more decades than it's taken to get us to this day today. Again, I want to thank all of you and everyone else who isn't here today who had a hand in this partnership for their patience and their dedication over the last 60 years. In this business of AOT, or the Department of Transportations around the country, it is rare when a project this old that has gone through as many iterations as this has gone through ultimately succeeds. So no matter what you initially thought of the project, whether the first circumferential highway vision was what folks think should have been, the very fact we are here today delivering a project that listened to the community. You're not always right when you have a thought. Things change. This city listened to the people. The federal government listened to the people. Our delegations over time listened to the people and have been very supportive of the funding that is necessary. So with that, I just want to say this is truly personal as much as it is professional for me as the Secretary of Transportation to be standing here. Welcome you all to this. Enjoy the lovely day, and now I'll turn it back over to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, I'm giving everyone different names and titles today. Secretary Flynn, and welcome home to Burlington. It's so sweet when people have a strong connection to our beautiful city. So for the people who live, work, and own businesses in the South End, the Champlain Parkway has never been an abstract infrastructure project. It's been part of everyday life and part of the conversations about the future of this particular neighborhood for many years. Our next speaker has represented the South District, or the South End, for the Burlington City Council and has worked closely with residents, businesses, and city staff as this project moved forward towards completion. So please help me in welcoming City Councilor and City Council President Ben Travers.
Thank you, Mayor. The first time I showed up at a city council meeting was roughly 12 years ago. As a South End resident living at the time right at the corner of Home Avenue and Pine Street, I showed up because the Champlain Parkway was on the agenda. And I sat down at public forum and I introduced myself as the leader of the Save the World's Tallest Filing Cabinet Coalition. And I thought it was a joke. No one on the council laughed. And I realized they think I'm serious. And that's the kind of town Burlington is. And Chapin, congratulations. Working through multiple coalitions, collaborative efforts, even saving the world's tallest filing cabinet, which you can see all the way down there, in getting this done. And thank you for dialing up this day. What can't you do, Chapin? On behalf of the City Council, allow me to say how wonderful it is to be here celebrating the completion of the Parkway. This is coming from someone who literally lives right through the trees over here, so I can speak with some level of authority when I say that I am among most South End residents who are incredibly excited that we have reached this point. Allow me to echo the thanks and gratitude to our federal and state partners, as well as Mayor Mulvaney-Stanak, for seeing this project through to the finish line. I also want to echo the recognition to former Mayor Weinberger. Mayor Weinberger, you made completing this project a real priority of your administration, and we would not be here but for your leadership on this, so thank you, Moreau. But projects like this don't happen in a single term. They require sustained commitment across administrations and levels of government, and today is a testament to that. I also want to echo thanks to our contractors. Between the Champlain Parkway, the Main Street, Great Streets construction project, Burlington Square, hopefully soon construction in the South End Innovation District, our contractor and consultant partners are the ones who are getting Burlington back on track. These have been complicated, high-impact projects, and your work is making a lasting difference to our city. And I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that this project in particular, from my perspective, sets the standard for community engagement. The Champlain Parkway website, the proactive engagement to neighbors, social media posts, their responsiveness to community concerns has not gone without notice, and I want to thank you all for your community engagement in that regard. Yeah, thank you. You know, over the years, I've heard our DPW director, who we'll hear from in a moment, Chapin Spencer, and maybe you're going to say it again today, Chapin, say,
Probably.
this isn't a perfect project. Is that in your notes?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's right. You know, no project of this size can be perfect. But I think it's time to stop leading with apologies on this project. Because Chapin and others who I've worked with on this, city engineer Laura Wheelock, senior engineer Corey Mims, and so many others, have spent years making this a more perfect project. Yeah, okay. Improving it, refining it, making sure it serves Burlington as well as it possibly can. In fact, I just saw Corey this past Friday at the South End Get Down on another beautiful Burlington evening. My family and I biked there along this new shared use path, which turns onto Lakeside and down Pine Street. And it struck me that the benefits of the Parkway, of this project, are already being felt. Bike and pedestrian connections between the South End and downtown are vastly improved. The frustrating traffic backups on our interior South End streets can finally begin to ease. We are unlocking, and I see a number of folks here from the Ride Your Bike Project and the South End Innovation District, we are unlocking opportunities for thousands of additional housing units right down this street. And we're making it easier to move into and out of and through Burlington, and it will strengthen our connections throughout our city and with our neighboring communities. Today isn't just the opening of a road, it's the completion of a project, a new gateway into our city that will improve how people experience Burlington for generations to come. I thank all of our partners, and thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Councilor Travers. And our final speaker, who has been at the center of bringing this project from plans on paper to the roadway we're all standing on here today. Leading an effort of this scale has required years of coordination, persistence, and partnership with residents, contractors, state and federal agencies, countless members of the city public works team. I will add lots and lots of elected people with lots of opinions. And today's celebration is a testament to all of that very hard work. So please join me in welcoming Burlington's Director of Public Works, Chapin Spencer.
Wow. I usually don't have notes. Those who know me know I'm pretty quick on my feet, but a moment like this requires a few thoughts to be written down. Given this project is older than many of us standing here, I must remark, what a long, strange trip this has been. At Public Works, we have 3 goals for infrastructure we build. It really needs to provide a resilient foundation for a vibrant and livable city. It needs to achieve the city priorities such as housing and economic growth in our city. And it needs to be rooted in protection of the environment. The Parkway, as many folks have said here, as completed but not originally envisioned, succeeds in achieving these 3 priorities. That is amazing news. Now, how many people in here have been in a meeting with me or had to suffer conversations with me? This has been a group effort, and I am so grateful to look across the intersection here and see how many people helped to make this happen. And there's been a lot of conversation about striking the balance. And it is not lost on me, and I hope you will talk to your neighbors and friends, that when I joke about it took a bike advocate to build a highway, that there's an underlying bit of truth here, that fundamentally what we built is a community asset. It is not just an interstate connection, and we have discussed this in a number of ways today. There are as many miles of shared use path, new shared use path as part of this project, as there are miles of new section of roadway. That shows real commitment to multimodal transportation. And to my good friends in Water Resources at Public Works, who always push us to go further, making sure that this project delivered on stormwater, delivered on protection of Lake Champlain, we are building a project that will stand the test of time. So I do want to say that, this place is not a corridor for vehicles to travel unimpeded through neighborhoods, but a place to safely travel in our community while sharing the road with other users and our neighbors. And we urge everyone to take time to get used to the new traffic patterns and travel safely through our community. There are a number of ways we have right-sized this project, and that has been discussed by the people behind me. But I also want to say that thanks to the great professional team at Public Works and across the city, we have also brought a number of other projects meant to lift up the neighborhoods through which this project travels. We have put new water mains on Maple and Pine Street. We have relined sewer lines in the King and Maple neighborhood. We added significant new paving in South End and the King and Maple neighborhood. We've obviously reconstructed the Shelburne Street roundabout, 5 corners. In total, there's been well over $10 million of other investment that integrate with this project today. And yes, give that a round of applause. President Travers, this project's not perfect. Yes. There you go. I said it. There were some elements of this project despite tireless behind-the-scenes efforts. And those of you who I'm looking at here have had conversations with me. Why can't we do this? Why can't this be included? Some of these elements could not be brought to fruition as part of this project. But we will be advancing other projects to meet the needs, and we will be monitoring the traffic patterns as part of this project, and we will respond as needed to make changes to this project to ensure that the promise of the Parkway lives up to the 3 Public Works goals I talked about previously. Now, thank yous. There are a number of people behind me who recognized many of the people here. I do, however, want to give a list of the teams who have helped out to give you some small flavor of the magnitude of this operation. And in context of that, I will explain a few moments where the project nearly died in multiple iterations, because the story of us collectively delivering this project is a Herculean success story. People wanted a multimodal Pine Street. There wasn't enough room in the city right of way. Well, people said, why don't we put a shared use path over the Pine Street Railroad lead? Well, 21 business owners along Pine Street owned the Pine Street lead in common. That means we had to talk to 21 businesses to voluntarily give up their rail rights in order to achieve the shared use path. And thank you to individual meetings time and time again and help from CEDO, we were able to get 21 businesses to say, yes, that's a future I believe in. So thank you. There were also 10 legal challenges to the project. And as speakers behind me have said, there's been a lot of discussion around whether this project is as good as it can be. And decades ago, it was not. And as we heard through good community conversation and engagement and a lot of meetings, we did get to the place where this project is ready to be built and opened. Now, we were successful in 10 of those legal challenges. Thank you to a very effective team here. And that cannot be understated. In addition, the needs of the South End started changing faster than the project could change. And I want to thank our partners behind us who willingly adopted and implemented other projects to help the South End grow and evolve while we waited on this project to be delivered. That includes upgrades to the Lakeside and Pine intersection, new mid-block crossings along Pine Street, and more. So let's get then to the list of folks who made these miraculous things possible. Federal Highway Administration, we have Patrick Kirby and Larkin Wellborn here today. Give them a big round of applause. VTrans, Secretary Flynn, you've been unwavering, and you have an amazing team behind you. Michelle Boomhauer and Andy DeForge have been your strategic players to help the city find the path forward again and again. Thank you. The CCRPC, the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission, has been a steadfast partner working with us to solve problems behind the scenes. Thank you. All right, we're going to get to the technical consultants. You can hold your applause to the end because we had a lot of help on this project. The design team, we had CHA, we had Stantec, we had VHB, we had RSG. The resident engineer and communications lead, WSP. Yes, 3-letter acronyms is what you need to have when you're in this business. Project manager, DuBois and King, and legal help from SRH Law. Give them a huge hand. Nice job, everybody. And local government. Yes, both the Mulvaney-Stanak and the Weinberger administrations steadfast support to believe in DPW that we could deliver a project worth building. And I just want it from the bottom of my heart to say thank you for that support and trust at every step of the way. And I'll help you continue to applaud by saying there were dozens of city council votes, by my estimation over 50 over the course of the 15 years that I've been involved in this project. And again, the councils had to grapple with the issues that we've all discussed today. And again, voted to support the team here to make this the project it is today. And I just want to say to all the councilors here, thank you. Other departments, we've talked about DPW has many different divisions and departments, from the traffic team to water resources, but Department of Finance Administration, Community and Economic Development Office, Parks and Recreation, Fire, Burlington Electric, City Attorney, City Arts, and others were all involved in this project. A number of you are here. Thank you. I'm getting towards the bottom, folks. There's also the little-known fact that the Champlain Parkway is not just in Burlington. Yeah, it's in South Burlington as well. And so we have had to work with our good friends over in South Burlington to coordinate parts of the I-189 ramp crossover into South Burlington, and that partnership has been solid. So moving on to project managers. This project has had more project managers than filing cabinet levels in the world's tallest filing cabinet. And that is true. In my 15-year tenure here, I would like to acknowledge Carol Weston, Justin Rabideau, Martin Lee, Dave Allerton, Susan Mulzen, Norm Baldwin, and today's team who brought us across the finish line, Laura Wheelock, Corey Mims, Jack Keller, Rob Goulding. Give it up for them. Yes, and the community stakeholders who have made this project better, I will just add, we know you will also hold us to account. And we look forward to the conversations moving forward as we learn how this project is working and make tweaks going ahead. Together, we have proven that we can do hard things together, and this is an amazing win for the City of Burlington. Congratulations. So as the last speaker who's here between you and cutting the ribbon and opening this long in gestation project, we will allow the media 5 minutes of Q&A, and we're happy to make additional time after the press conference to answer any specific questions, but happy to take any questions now.
How rewarding is this moment? So much work has gone into it.
How rewarding is this moment? So much work has gone into it. You know, I would say that acknowledging that there are lives of people who have worked on this project who are no longer here. There are people who have spent decades of their lives trying to take a project that was broken and was not the forward-looking vision that Burlington wanted to what we achieved today. And I think that realization is heartening. It is what we need on the local, state, and national level right now, and we can all be proud in what we've done together.
Any estimation as to how much it's cost since 1965?
Sure. The question is, how much did the project cost? So the project originally started as a state project. The city took it over in 1998. And since 1998, the price tag is approximately, the project is not totally finished, is $84 million. Burlington has a very favorable funding mix. This is one of the last, if not the last, project in the country at 95% federal, 3% state, and 2% local. That said, and we delivered a project that has amazing value for Burlington. We did have to pay for other non-participating costs, but to get the level of value that we got for the property tax dollars that we invested is a remarkable win for the Burlington community, and one of the reasons why we needed to see this project through. There were problems that we couldn't fix. We didn't have the money, but for this project, so we had to right-size it and then build it. Thank you.
This is a day to celebrate, but as Senator Welch said, it's 61 years, a very long time. What did you learn from this project to move to others that won't let this happen again?
Right. Thank you. How do we make sure that we learn from this 61-year 61-year runway on development of this project to improve our work in the future? I think Senator Welch said it great in terms of it at the national level. We do need to look at overhauling our permitting, and that's piece that I am happy to engage with the legislature and the federal congressional delegation. Locally, I think we need to scope our projects appropriately. This project originally conceived as a 4-lane highway, high speed, cutting off neighborhoods. That was not Burlington. And we spent decades trying to undo that. And how many administrations and how many governor administrations did it take to work through that? It was an inefficient use of time. And going forward, I think we need to scope our projects rooted in planning. We have Plan BTV 2050 underway right now. Get engaged in that. Help lay the vision and have the projects come out of the vision, not be laid on top of the vision. A few more questions.
Yes, you mentioned studying the traffic impacts and making comparable data.
Yes.
How long do you, maybe for foresee that data collection period lasting, where you think you'll have enough? How this works?
Yes, how long will we be doing the traffic monitoring? Well, we will be doing it for a couple of years. It takes a while for traffic to settle. I'm pleased to show off here in every intersection has a special camera at the intersection. It does not record, let's get that out there, but it monitors traffic and gives us real data about how intersections are performing. So we don't have to have as many people in the streets as we used to have, which is another great benefit from this project. But we will be looking at all intersections along the corridor, including the King Maple neighborhood, including Lakeside and Pine Street, for a couple of years as traffic settles out, and we will make changes and tweaks as need be. 2 final questions.
What's the status of the railway spur that could connect the Parkway to Battery Street?
Yes, as folks recall, this Champlain Parkway originally was designed to run through the barge canal and connect with Battery Street. That was part of the 4-lane high-speed highway. Due to contamination in the Pine Street Barge Canal, the alignment for the Champlain Parkway was moved onto Pine Street from traversing the Barge Canal. And there's been a lot of fight and acrimony over the time about how to really manage traffic well and safely in and around the King and Maple neighborhood and the South End generally. The Rail Yard Enterprise Project is a separate project launched under the Weinberger administration to make a connection from Pine Street to Battery behind Curtis Lumber. That project is in right-of-way. We're in active negotiations with the railroad about how to align this project and how to acquire rights. We will have an update to the City Council in the next month or 2 on this project, and that is a separate project standalone from this project. Last question.
Do you have an estimate at all for how many drivers will use the Parkway versus using the Shelburne Road exit?
Yes, we can certainly have the technical team follow up with you after. We are expecting a 10 to 20% reduction of traffic on Shelburne Road because of the Champlain Parkway, which will give us opportunities to look at how do we improve the pedestrian and bicycle experience on Shelburne Road. So there are virtuous benefits that this project brings to other parts of the city. Okay, with that, I think the time is now. We are here in a very warm, beach-like environment, but without the water. So what we're going to do now is move to the ribbon cutting. We have a 61-foot-long ribbon equaling each year of the project. Thank you, team, for coming up with that. And once we cut said ribbon, I would like to ask the contractors and the consultant teams to come behind. Public can watch, and we'll hold the ribbon and cut it. And then after a brief moment, we'll prepare the site, and we will have a procession of vehicles to be the first ones to enter the Champlain Parkway, led by, thank you, Dan Nolan, your antique 1965 Ford Mustang, constructed the year the Parkway was first envisioned. So, we are so glad to have you here. What a special day. Come on up, contractors and consultants, and let's cut this dang ribbon.
Chapin. 61.
Yes.
We will want folks to move back. I need a lot of hands. All right, so hold Laura, that's got to go. It's got to go in the crosswalk.
All right.
Okay.
Can't believe it.
Oh, it literally had like the
Let's do this.
All right. Crosswalk. Come
Do
on.
this, people.
Here we go.
Spread out. We got the whole feet.
We're going to give 5 minutes for media to do some interviews before the procession, so there'll be a little bit
There it is.
right over here.
John, oh no. Mr. Ireland.
Steve,
I know, Ben's cutting it.
yeah, I can only go so fast.
Ben's cutting it.
Yeah, I was just gonna, if I could, yeah. If you don't mind. There you go. That's a lot better.
Teamwork, right?
How you doing, sir?
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Come on, fill in, find a spot.
What a great event.
Okay. See, she does all the work. She doesn't do this thing. If you guys want to, get up front, find a gap on the line. Yeah, you guys can be right in the center.
Yeah, we do. I was waiting for the mayor or Senator Welch to do that.
Yeah, we'll get. You can be on it. Okay. Yeah, I'll say just right up with them. And then, come here.
Keep going in the back. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
You'll end up in the lake.
51 feet's a long way.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
Right. Yeah.
Chapin, you got room for Michelle and Andy, maybe?
Yes. Yes.
Andy?
Andy and Michelle.
Andy? Michelle? Michelle, please.
Thank you.
You might be retired, but you're still in the photo op.
Sorry.
Let him do it.
It's a train.
She arranged that, did she?
Right. Full effect. Full experience.
All right, where's...
Is anybody going to cue me here?
Oh, you can cue.
Oh, okay, we're ready. Okay, we'll do it before the train does the horn. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit, there we go.
Thank you.